Hello everyone and welcome to the stunning Sugarloaf in Maine. We're here deep in the heart of the beautiful Carabasset Valley Trail Network for the 6th round of the Enduro World Series 2022. It's time for EWS Sugarloaf. Racing got underway here in Maine yesterday afternoon with the pro stage. Rock Lobster was a high-octane slice of everything that makes riding bikes in Sugarloaf so good. Rain earlier in the week, plus rising temperatures had left it rooted, rutty and ready for racing. Gloria Scarsi continued to make a name for herself with a 3rd place on the pro stage. Second position went to the defending champ and a racer that we really have yet to see the best from in 2022, Melamed and Isabeau. But out front it was a huge ride from Isabeau Courdurier. Still racing through the pain barrier, she proved yet again that she wasn't up for giving up her yellow plate anytime soon.
Back pushing 100% because my physical is still a bit low, and I think but everyone is tired after such 3 hard races in a row, so I'm just trying to do the best I can with what I have at the moment. But for me the main goal is to have fun, so I'm clearly only looking for that.
In the pro men's race, racing at home for the consecutive weekend was Richie Rude. He won EWS Berg. Could he make it a historic US double? The man he's trying to catch in the overall, Jesse Melamed, was 1 spot up the road and had added some additional points to that lead. But no one could catch Pivot Factory Racing's Matt Walker. The Kiwi beat Melamed to the line by 900ths of a second to claim his first ever stage win.
Quite surprised, to be honest. It was messy out there, like super slick conditions, hard not to make mistakes, but I guess everyone is, so I don't know, just make the least mistakes possible and hang on to it and see how she goes.
The second day of racing at EWS Sugarloaf had been adjusted due to a storm forecast to arrive later in the afternoon and would see the racers take on 5 classic stages. The first of which was Rookie River at 1.8 kilometres in length. After that it was stage 3, the 355, which was the Queen stage, and the longest of the race at 4 kilometres. Jackpot was stage 4, before the ominously named Crusher DH for stage 5. The final stanza would be a rerun of Rock Lobster as stage 6. The first stage of Sunday was an eye-opener. Rookie River was one of the steepest of the weekend and charged through the trees back down towards the race village. Giant Enduro was up for day 2. He stormed home to a 3rd place in the opener, just ahead of Jack Moir. Richie Rude was 2nd on the stage and now up to 2nd in the overall. Out front it was all change. Walker had come a cropper on Rookie River and he rolled to the bottom of the stage down to 8th in the overall.
Just came out swinging a bit too hard on the first stage. You kind of just need to be patient, and I just overrode it. Smoked a tree at the top and then had a big crash further down. Had like a stick stuck in my cleat so I couldn't clip back in as well. So just blowing my foot for the rest of the stage, but it's what it is.
Melamed on the other hand was clinical. 6/10 to the good, Jesse led. Ibis's Rafaela Richter was continuing her fine run of form and was third on the opening stage. Isabeau Courdurier knew that this block of racing in Canada and the US would be crucial to her title aspirations. The foot injury would heal, but it needed time. And in the meantime, she needed points. First on stage 2, just ahead of Bex Baraona, was a good start.
I didn't start it great. I had a flat on the first one. I was really enjoying it and it dried a lot, so the conditions were good. But yeah, I had a flat and then it was quite hard, but I made it on time at the top of this one.
How many degrees of movement does an owl have in its neck? 355 was the sadly inaccurate guesswork of the team that dug the third stage. Regardless of being ornithologically inaccurate, it was the Queen stage, the toughest of the weekend, and 4 kilometres of rocks and roots. Isabeau Courdurier's lead was cut by 5 seconds on stage 3. Second on the 355 was Ella Conolly. She crashed during the pro stage, but was now on the hunt for some time. The stage win and the overall points went to Bex Baraona, who was now firmly locked on to Courdurier's lead. In the pro women's race, Courdurier led Baraona by a scant 1.3 seconds. Becky Cook was having a superb day on the stages and was up to 4th. Gloria Scarsi was holding on to the front runners in 3rd, and Flo Espinera was sat in 9th. There was drama in the Canyon Collective pits after the Queen stage. Jack Moir had flattened right at the top of the stage and done some real damage.
Managed to put tube in it and blow it up. He broke a spoke and kind of wrecked the wheel and the disc rotor here a bit, so we had to make a kind of quick decision there because he's 10 minutes behind. He's now pretty tight for time to make it up the transition to the next one, so we've decided to keep the old wheel, which is pretty bad shape but it's still going round, and see if we can just keep riding with that.
Whilst Shark Attack Jack was left hunting for stage wins, there was trouble for Melamed. The Canadian had crashed and dropped 27 seconds in the process. Frenchman Irene Menju beat Martin Maes home to 2nd on the stage. Rude, sensing trouble for Melamed, landed a hammer blow of a stage win. It was a breathless, hard to keep up with start to the day, and after the opening 2 stages, here's how the overall looked. Richie Rude had a substantial 21.5 second lead ahead of Ewan Deneau. Jesse Melamed was left staring up the road at a 26 second deficit. Matt Walker, despite the disappointment of stage 2, was now back up to 5th. Slawomir Lukasic was the big winner of the morning, having pulled himself up 11 positions to 9th.
Like, 'cause it's changed so much, so looking up and just trying to ride smooth and get off the brakes where you can.
Oh man, it's so slick. I was fighting so hard just to like keep the front tire under me and not let it exit the front door, or me exit the front door. I don't know, it's like a fine line. I'm trying to push in the open stuff when it's like there's speed, but then I'm really backing it off like in all the sketchy stuff, because if you miss your line even just a moment, your front tire just starts to deflect and like it can get out of hand really quick.
This one more slippery than the second, so I have a little crash, but it's a long day, so we will see.
The 1.6 kilometres of stage 4 was called Jackpot and was a faster, slightly less technical stage with some meaty flat corners on the ski piste for those who fancy taking some chances. Courdurier and Baraona remained locked together on stage 4. The Frenchwoman beat the British rider home by just under 2 seconds to bolster her lead. Morgan Shar, who'd been having a quieter day on the stages by her standards, took the win on 4. Because EWS Sugarloaf hadn't served up enough drama, there was more of it on Jackpot. Richie Rude lost 6 seconds and rolled in 22nd, having lost the front end. Jesse Melamed won the stage to promptly capitalise. But remember those flat turns we mentioned? Sam Hill came second on the stage. Rude's slip hadn't been as costly as Melamed's. He now led the race by 20 seconds from the Canadian. Crusher DH was named after a local legend and was the second longest stage of the race. The big rocks and roots were back across a vertical drop of 500 metres. Morgan Shar finished the 5th stage in 3rd, just behind Isabeau Courdurier. Bex Baraona in 6th, the Lapierre Zip Collective rider, was now 10.7 seconds to the good in the overall. Ella Conolly won stage 5 and was charging hard. The pro men's race was quickly turning into one of the most eventful in the sport's history. Rude, the leader, was down.
I had a crash on the last 2 stages, so yeah, it's a bit brutal right now. Tucked the front and hit a tree, so.
Having at one stage had a commanding lead, the big American lost 49 seconds and injured his shoulder to boot. Jack Moir, who had a nightmare start to the day, won the stage. Ewan Deneau and Jesse Melamed followed Moir to the line, which meant that the latter now led the race. Isabeau Courdurier still led. The positions behind her had fluctuated, but the lead had held and was now looking stable at 14 seconds. Baraona and Conolly were 2nd and 3rd respectively, and Becky Cook was having one of her best races in several seasons in 5th, just behind Scarsi. The pro men's race had seen names tumbling left, right and centre all day. But finally, with one stage to go, Jesse Melamed led from Martin Maes, who busied himself with keeping it clean all day, and despite his first stage troubles, Matt Walker was now back into 3rd. Rude, the one-time leader, was 8th, whilst the American Colton Peterson was having a stellar run in 10th.
Made some silly mistakes on the pro stage, and I was really looking forward to racing here this weekend. The stages look unreal, so I feel like I'm going good today. Got a bit of fire back in my belly, which is nice. It's been missing, so yeah, trying to ride fast and feel like I'm starting to get back there. So
yeah, good. It's a bit of a weird one. Like, you might think you're riding fast, and then it might not be a good stage for you, and then vice versa. So I feel like I've had my better stages when I kind of thought I was battling it out, but it's the kind of terrain. It's a bit unusual. You kind of need to know where to push and where to settle a bit.
So I had a pretty rough start to the day, just kept like sliding out, crashing, couldn't find the right pace. The first couple of stages of the day were pretty wet, so I think I was just pushing a bit too much and had some wild moments. And then kind of ridden into the race, I picked myself back up and I've enjoyed the last couple of stages a lot. We're about to drop into stage 6, the last stage, and it looks like it's in good condition, dried out a bit, so I'm excited for this one.
I crashed on stage 4, I crashed on stage 3, but I just keep going and also did a top 10 result, so not so bad. And I had a small crash on stage 4, but I twist my bar and I just pushed like doing 30 seconds, but it doesn't work, so I lose like more than 1 minute on this one, and bye-bye is the overall. So I just keep pushing on stage 5, did a great one, second, so now only one, and just I will reward this one if it's like the stage 1, that's it.
About to drop into stage 6, pro stage again. The day's been a lot of ups and downs. First stage really caught me by surprise today with just how like blown out it was and how sketchy it was. Like the dirt was gone between, so it was kind of like double the amount of rocks, double the amount of roots, so you just thought you could ride it like practice, but you really couldn't. So I had a big crash on the first one today, and that kind of like peaked me back a bit, but it was almost a good thing because it made me settle down for the rest of them, and not lighting the world on fire with my stage results today, but just consistently chipping away, so stoked.
I think it's very difficult for everyone. We are all very tired, and I'm just trying to focus on my riding and having fun and trying to keep it smooth. We just done stage 5, which was drier than in practice, and it was good. And now we are doing again the pro stage from yesterday, which is going to be stage 6.
Only one stage remained. The rerun of Rock Lobster would settle it once and for all. But after the Battle of Sugarloaf, the final outcome remained anyone's guess. Morgan Shar finished the final stage of the race in third. Ella Conolly won the final stage in a race that she had really ridden herself into, and it was that final push that would secure her third in the overall. Bex Baraona was 7th on the stage, but it was enough to guarantee her second in the race. There was no stopping Isabeau Courdurier, who won her third EWS of the year at the end of a block of racing that at one stage it looked unlikely she'd even attend.
I'm super happy, honestly. I did not expect it to be able to do it on these 3 races, and living on a happy ending is perfect for me. I'm super stoked. It's kind of a fairy tale for me to win today after everything that I went through.
Jack Moir won the final stage. Again this year, it may not have been the result he wanted at the start of the weekend, but proof once more that the speed is definitely there. Martin Maes followed him home and was rewarded for having the most consistent, drama-free afternoon of the big names. The Belgian claimed a well-deserved second in the overall classification as a result. At the line, Rude was battered and bruised. That slam into the tree had hurt. The two-time champ headed for the medics at the finish for an assessment of just how bad the shoulder injury actually was. Jesse Melamed was third on the stage and secured himself the win in the process. At one stage, all had looked lost for the Canadian, but he had dug deep and stuck to the plan. The reward would be vital breathing space at the front of the overall standings.
Hard, really hard. I think everyone's going to say that, just by the fact that I was basically last man standing. I rode a couple stages. I rode most stages really well, but stage 3 I twisted my bars, tried to straighten them, didn't. So I rode all that, bars twisted, had 2 more crashes because of it. So I thought that was the win out, and I was battling for a podium, and then unfortunately saw Richie on 5, and I was okay, it's back on, but it's not the way you want it to go. I'm glad I, had one last stage to have to put it down under pressure, so it feels like I won on the last one, so that's kind of good. Really tough to ride, changing, and just like I was saying, where there was no support, there was absolutely no support. So even going slow, going fast, you'd start losing it and then just fall all the way down. So I had a couple of things on that on stage 3. The rest I thought were pretty good.
The pro women's results then: Courdurier from Baraona from Conolly. Scarsi and Cook both completed standout rides. Morgan Shar lost some ground on Courdurier with an 8th place finish. Depending on what the prognosis is on that shoulder injury, may yet make an impact on the destination of this title. Melamed takes top honours from Maes and the superb Walker. Alex Rudeau, an EWS E winner from earlier in the year, took 4th. Colton Peterson held on for a top 10 just in front of the 3-time EWS champ Sam Hill. That leaves the overall pro women's looking like this. It's a case of mission successful for Courdurier. She not only survived the block of back-to-back races, but extended her points lead in the process. It was 2-1 to Melamed in terms of Canada and North American rounds. He extended his lead and tightens his grip on the yellow plate. Martin Maes is third, just ahead of Eddie Masters, whilst another top 10 sees Cole Lucas in 5th. Pivot Factory Racing remain in control of the team's championship, ahead of Rocky Mountain Raceface and Yeti Fox.
There we have it then. We hope you enjoyed that one as much as we did. An absolutely unbelievable race to round out 3 thrilling back-to-back races here in Canada and North America. We're going to take a couple of weeks break now before we return to Europe to round off what has been a captivating EWS season with the EWS Cron Montana. Thank you for watching. Thank you so much for everyone who has helped us here on the other side of the Atlantic. We'll see you there.